A milkshake cost 15 cents, your car had tailfins, and you could dance under neon lights to a jukebox on Sunset Boulevard. That version of California, it was real. And now it's gone, and we miss it. In this video, we're bringing back the magic. The drive-ins, the diners, the surfboards, the soda fountains. 15 unforgettable things that once made life in 1950s California feel like a postcard you could live in. You may have never seen it, but by the end of this video, you'll wish you had. Let's go. Back in the 1950s, a Friday night meant piling into the car, grabbing some popcorn at the concession stand, and watching a movie from your front seat under the open sky. Drive-in theaters were everywhere in California, glowing softly on the edge of town, where romance, family time, and freedom came together. You didn't need a ticket stub or a fancy seat, just a radio dial and a clear view of the screen. Most of them are gone now, replaced by shopping centers or left to rust. But for those who remember, there was nothing like watching Hollywood under the stars. Born in California and inspired by space travel, car culture, and atomic age dreams, Googie architecture made diners and coffee shops feel like portals to the future. Think bold roof lines, starburst signs, glass walls, buildings that looked like they were ready to take off. Spots like Pan's or Norm's weren't just places to eat. They were statements, loud, optimistic, and full of flair. Many have been demolished, but for a moment in the 50s, California looked like tomorrow had already arrived. Before it became a global brand, surfing was a local, sun-bleached religion in 1950s California. Teens waxed their boards on the sand, dragged them down Pacific Coast Highway, and rode waves at Malibu, Huntington, and Rincon. Long before the beaches got crowded. It wasn't just about the surf. It was a lifestyle. Blonde hair, beach bonfires, and barefoot freedom. You didn't need money, just swell and sunshine. That world still echoes today, but the purity of those early surf days is something California can't get back. In the 1950s, before it was glam, the Sunset Strip was raw, loud, and alive with sound. Tiny clubs hosted unknown acts that would soon define entire genres. Jazz, rock and roll, and early pop poured out onto the sidewalks at night, attracting dreamers, rebels, and future legends. It wasn't about record deals or stardom, not yet. It was about energy. You could walk a few blocks and hear 5 different bands lighting up the night. That original, unfiltered magic helped shape Los Angeles into the music capital it would soon become. In 1955, Walt Disney opened the gates to a place no one had ever seen before. A park where adults and kids could step inside stories. From Main Street to Tomorrowland, Disneyland wasn't just a theme park. It was the beginning of a new kind of fantasy. Back then, it wasn't corporate. It felt personal, handmade, full of wonder. You could meet Mickey, ride a rocket, and still be home before dinner. That first decade of Disneyland had a charm that today's crowds and apps can't quite recapture. For families in the 1950s, Route 66 wasn't just a highway. It was the dream in motion. California's stretch of the Mother Road was dotted with neon-lit motels, diners shaped like teepees, and roadside attractions that begged you to pull over. The journey mattered as much as the destination. You didn't just drive to get somewhere, you drove to feel alive. Today, freeways replaced the magic. But for those who cruised Route 66, there was nothing like that stretch of open road and endless sky. In 1950s California, your car wasn't just transportation. It was your identity. Teens cruised the boulevard in shiny Chevys and Fords, showing off tailfins, white walls, and custom paint. Drive-ins and car shows became weekend rituals, where the engine was just as important as the music. The roads were wide, The gas was cheap, and the cars were built like dreams on wheels. Car culture still exists, but that golden age of polished chrome and slow cruising is long gone. Every small town and city neighborhood had one, a place where you could grab a root beer float, sit at the counter, and chat with friends for hours. Soda fountains were more than just ice cream and soda. They were meeting points, hangouts, and teenage hubs. Today, most are gone, replaced by fast food chains or forgotten in old photos. But there was a time when a nickel and a cherry Coke could turn an ordinary afternoon into a memory. After the Second World War, California's suburbs boomed, and so did the backyard barbecue. Every weekend, families fired up the grill, neighbors brought over potato salad, and kids ran barefoot through fresh-cut lawns. It was community, connection, and comfort, all behind a white picket fence. It wasn't about gourmet food. It was about feeling at home in a brand new world. Today's cookouts are different. But those early barbecues, they tasted like hope. In the evenings, everything stopped. Kids sat cross-legged on the floor. Parents eased into chairs. The screen lit up in black and white, and families watched together. I Love Lucy, The Lone Ranger, Leave It to Beaver. The 1950s weren't just the golden age of television. They were the golden age of watching it as a family. No second screens, no skipping ahead. Just shared laughs and living room rituals. That kind of togetherness is harder to find today. In post-war 1950s California, you didn't need a passport to feel far away. You just needed a tiki bar. With bamboo walls, carved idols, and flaming cocktails, these Polynesian-themed spots offered escapism in its most colorful form. It was fantasy, kitsch, and rebellion wrapped in a coconut shell. Tiki bars still exist, but the original magic, the novelty, the innocence, the thrill, belongs to a different era of imagination. In the 1950s, California beaches weren't just destinations. They were the heart of youth culture. Sunset bonfires, portable radios, roasted marshmallows, and barefoot dancing in the sand created nights that felt endless. It wasn't organized, posted, or sponsored. It just happened. You showed up, the fire lit, the stories flowed. The beach is still there, but that version of it, spontaneous, free, and wild, is something we only see in memory. Before texting, before scrolling, you had roller skates and a disco ball. California's roller rinks were neon-lit playgrounds where teens looped in endless circles, holding hands, racing friends, or locking eyes to slow songs. They were loud, lively, and full of energy. And though a few still roll on, most have closed, turned into storage units or supermarkets. What we lost wasn't just a place to skate. We lost a soundtrack to growing up. In 1950s California, a diner wasn't just a place to eat. It was a vibe. With red vinyl booths, checkered floors, and tabletop jukeboxes, spots like Bob's Big Boy and Pan's weren't just serving burgers and shakes. They were serving culture. You could stay for hours, chatting over a slice of pie or flipping through songs with a quarter. Today's diners try to imitate the style, but they can't recreate the soul of those chrome palaces where life slowed down and the coffee never stopped flowing. Born from post-war pride and creativity, lowrider culture hit its stride in the 1950s, especially in Chicano communities across California. Customized cars rolled low and slow, covered in vibrant paint, chrome, and deep meaning. It wasn't just about the ride. It was expression, tradition, and resistance. Families built them. Neighborhoods celebrated them. And even though lowriders still glide through SoCal streets today, the golden age of cruising, when it was all heart and pride, is something we deeply miss. California in the 1950s wasn't just a place. It was a feeling. A jukebox spinning Elvis, the sun setting behind a roller rink, surfboards lined up in the sand, and the smell of barbecue drifting through brand new neighborhoods. We didn't just lose places. We lost rituals. We lost rhythm. We lost a kind of everyday magic that made life feel a little lighter, a little slower, and a whole lot more connected. So tell us, which one of these moments would you bring back if you could? Do you have stories from your parents, your abuelos, or maybe even your own memories of this golden time? Leave us a comment. We'd love to read it. And if this video brought back even a spark of nostalgia, please give it a like. It's free for you. But for us, it's the only way YouTube shows this to more people who feel like you. Thanks for watching. And never forget, the past doesn't disappear if we keep telling its stories.